At the docks, special units are looking for a creature. Solomon Grundy is taking fire, and they think they got him, but he's not out. They open fire at him, and he destroys them all before squashing their tanks. After cleaning out the rest, he tells them he's going to crush them all, but a tank takes him down. He tries to come back, but he's shot again with special rays that keep him down. They get a vault and try to lock him inside, but Aquaman arrives with a serpent and takes out everyone on land. Finally, he grabs Grundy, and they escape. They go someplace else, and Aquaman wants Grundy for a mission in exchange for gold. They go inside, and Inza greets them. Grundy is given his gold, and Aquaman asks for Inza's husband. They offer them food, and Grundy doesn't shy away. Suddenly, there is a blinding light, and Dr. Fate comes out. It appears that Aquaman was doing Dr. Fate's bidding. Dr. Fate wants to know Grundy's origin, but Grundy doesn't remember. Dr. Fate taps into his memories and finds his previous life as Cyrus Gold. He was a gangster who performed many evil deeds. One night, people turned on him and they opened fire at him and killed him. His body was cursed and tossed in a creek with mystical powers. After some time, decades later, he woke up as a walking dead man with no soul, always seeking something, but never knowing why. Aquaman is concerned about his kingdom, but now Grundy wants something else. He wants his soul back. Dr. Fate agrees to help, and they begin their mission. Back at the docks, a rope snaps, and Superman saves an agent from being crushed. The general doesn't want their help, and tells them that their friend came here and ruined everything, revealing it was Aquaman. They discuss what happened, and Superman tries to be political, but they find a cruise ship being attacked by a sea monster. They get down to handle it, and try to stop the monster, but it's tougher than they thought, and Superman is hurt. He's then tossed into the water, before the rest get squashed as well. Wonder Woman asks for strength before she snaps and kicks ass. Superman gives Hawkgirl her mace, and she breaks the monster's teeth below, finally defeating it. Superman tracks the creature, and they start to believe Aquaman is behind it. So they go down to Atlantis to visit Aquaman. Mera welcomes them, and Hawkgirl throws accusations. They ask Mera to explain, but she doesn't know anything. She explains that he's with Dr. Fate, but Hawkgirl doesn't like it. They head back, and Wonder Woman tells Hawkgirl that she was acting in a bad manner. The name Dr. Fate worries them, as magic can hurt Superman like that. They go over to his place, but can't find a door. Superman tries punching inside, but magic keeps him out. Hawkgirl blows it open, and they find a stairway to heaven. Dr. Fate is carrying a spell, and begins doing it on Grundy. It is a painful ritual, and he continues saying out the incantation. A storm brews around them while he finishes it up. The team arrives to see this, and Inza stops them from intruding. Hawkgirl knocks it down and gets inside, then she takes out Dr. Fate. Aquaman tells them to leave, and Dr. Fater says that they ruined everything. He must try to fix it, but he has to concentrate. Grundy joins the fight as they all square off. Dr. Fate can't concentrate, and he sends them all away, but not Hawkgirl. They are transported to a temple in Egypt, where Superman tries to reason with Grundy, but he is attacked. They both fight and destroy the pyramids. Superman asks Grundy to stop, but Grundy says that Dr. Fate is helping him. He suplexes Superman before Superman takes him on a free trip to the skies, before dropping him from above. Wonder Woman lands with Aquaman in the Easter Islands, and they begin to fight, taking down the Easter Island head. Aquaman goes Bruce Lee on her. What are they teaching him underwater? The fight continues, and Wonder Woman finally beats him, but he doesn't let up. He takes her to the waters, and takes her for a swim. Meanwhile, Hawkgirl is demanding Dr. Fate bring back her friends. Dr. Fate outnumbers her, and gangs up on Hawkgirl. She tries to hold her own, but he has a lot of tricks in the bag. She destroys his stones, but he spits out fire, and she manages to avoid it. She finds Thanagarian runes, and demands he spills the beans. As that is happening, Superman drags Grundy back. Aquaman takes Wonder Woman, and then he tries to attack Superman, but Superman won't have it. Hawkgirl is still battling, and Superman drags back the bodies. Wonder Woman stops the fight, and they confront Dr. Fate. Things go south, and a giant skull appears out of nowhere. Everyone watches the thing appear. Dr. Fate gets to business and tries to contain it, but he's defeated. Hawkgirl helps him and gives him a power-up, enchanting alongside him until they get rid of the skull. She escorts him down. He asks her how she knew the incantation. She explains that it's a prayer where she comes from. He explains that they must complete the original spell to stop it. They demand to know an explanation, and Dr. Fate decides to show them. He tells a tale of Atlantis thousands of years before it sank. It was ruled by sorcerer kings. It was attacked by extra-dimensional beings called the Old Ones. They laid waste to the city as they prepared for the arrival of Cthulhu. King Poseidon gathered all the mystical energy on Earth and formed the Trident. He used it to banish all the monsters from their realm and sent Cthulhu away. The price was too high. The energy used drained the city and sank Atlantis to the bottom of the sea. The old ones are now trying to come back. They were helping Fate cast a spell to close the rifts in their worlds, but they interrupted. Hawkgirl explains to Wonder Woman that they were not torturing Grundy, but it's more of a sacrifice. She knows because her people used to worship Cthulhu. They gained his favors, and they worshipped him in return thousands of years ago. They don't want to volunteer Grundy into this spell. Hawkgirl suggests they go to Cthulhu's world and kick his ass. Aquaman disagrees, but Dr. Fate says it's a good idea. Aquaman leaves them and decides to abandon them. Dr. Fate asks Inza to stay as an anchor point so he can find his way back. They all depart and get to another world looking straight out of an acid trip. Superman tries to fly off, but Dr. Fate warns him that things here work differently and he could get lost forever. Meanwhile, Aquaman returns to his kingdom and assembles his war council. He can no longer hear the creatures of the sea as things are looking really bad, with other creatures coming in from portals. Back in the other world, Hawkgirl explains that Cthulhu helped her people by giving them agriculture, mathematics, and the foundations of a culture. As they near their goal, they get attacked by weird monsters. Dr. Fate shields them, but they all get blown away. They try to fight, and Grundy tears them, while Dr. Fate handles business. Grundy actually becomes strong for once, but he gets surrounded, and he deals with them with ease, but he falls through. Hawkgirl saves him to his surprise, and they become friends. Now Hawkgirl and the rest have to smash. Everyone is okay, and they continue with the mission. Back near Atlantis, monster fish attack, and Atlantis wage war on them. Hawkgirl asks Wonder Woman the question we've all been wanting to ask. Does she gain strength when she calls for Hera? Wonder Woman says that sometimes they only have faith. They find a sea of monsters going through a portal to get to the Earth as Fate's spell is weakening. They split into two teams, and meanwhile, Aquaman calls on his own sea creatures to even the playing field. Dr. Fate, Hawkgirl, and Grundy go to find Cthulhu. They can feel him around, and Fate says that he is everywhere. He stares them in the eyes and threatens them. He recognizes that she is Thanagarian and takes an interest in her. Grundy fights a creature, but both he and Fate are defeated, while Hawkgirl is taken. Superman and Wonder Woman are trying to hold the fort, but the monsters are getting stronger. Superman finally has enough and blows one off. Hawkgirl is tied up and spoken to by Cthulhu. He asks her why her people forsake him, explaining that the price for his tribute was too high. Grundy hears that Cthulhu was stealing souls as tribute and becomes enraged. He immediately attacks, demanding his soul back. He suddenly becomes the Hulk, smashing his way into his heart. Meanwhile, Superman and Wonder Woman find that the monsters aren't attacking, but running away from Aquaman. Aquaman can seal with breach with his trident, but he needs something big enough. Superman and Wonder Woman get to work to block it, and Aquaman is able to close the breach. Dr. Fate is getting his ass handed to him and the team steps in, but Aquaman is the one who saves them. Grundy is tearing stuff down below and Hawkgirl escapes. Nothing can stop Grundy, but he gets bit in the ass, and that affects him. He continues on as he's sure he's close, until he finally finds the god. Hawkgirl arrives and Grundy gets his back burned, but it won't stop him. He gets crushed flat and grabbed by the giant squid, but Grundy is having lobster for dinner. He defeats Cthulhu and crumbles, then Hawkgirl arrives by his side. Grundy can't move and asks for his soul, and Hawkgirl decides to finish what he started. She rips through Cthulhu's soul stash and finally destroys him. She goes back to Grundy, who's dying. The rest of the team arrives and gives them a moment. Hawkgirl comforts him in his dying moments, and Grundy is finally happy. He dies, and everyone is sad for him. They bury him back by the swamp. Aquaman explains what faith is to Hawkgirl, who is grieving Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. It was the first time we got to see Grundy being more than the Frankenstein monster that he is. It was also nice to see a story where a villain carries the whole team and saves everyone in the end. Dr. Fate also appeared for the first time in the Justice League series, but he was kind of nerfed, if you ask us. Why do they always do that with the heroes? Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this story. Do you think Dr. Fate is nerfed down in the Justice League show? Do you like to see more superheroes unleashing their full power and stop holding back? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.